came into the room and she's like, look at my phone. And then I couldn't see it, so I had to look at mine. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, it's going to be a good game, but I can't bet against Tom Brady. I have the Bucks winning 31-27 and Tom Brady going to his 10th championship.
Aaron Rodgers and his people were like, they listened to our episode and they said, hold our cheesehead or coat.
Donovan Mitchell, who right now looks to be a superstar.
Just amazing. And I don't care what the Red Sox got for trading Mookie Betts and David Price. The Dodgers, in my opinion, win it. I don't have to see what players they gave up.
Yeah, that's not just the Chiefs. That's Andy Reid. He knows the defenses so well because he's such a great offensive mind.
Well, you said you can't bet against Tom Brady, and as a Cowboys fan and what I just did last weekend, I am not going to bet against Aaron Rodgers.
It was a great series. Game 4 was one of the best games I've ever watched in my entire life.
It just goes to show the offense for the Dallas Stars could not keep up. And when the defense needed to step up, the Lightning's offense just overpowered them.
Chris Paul is one of the most underrated players of all time. He's been the best player wherever he goes, and that includes with the Rockets. Yeah, Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl. I mean, that's all I can really say. There's 2 of the top 5 players in the league, and they are very, very good.
Yeah, and I really think the Clippers' chance to win the championship was last year, and they were up 3-1 against the Denver Nuggets.
Hello, I'm Taylor Hearn, and you listen to The Outsiders' Opinions with Kevin and Austin.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to our 77th episode, what I would like to call our Luka tribute episode, because 77, of course. Make sure to check out our last episode, which will be where we review the MLB Home Run Derby and the All-Star Game. Gave some thoughts on the jerseys and that whole catastrophe, so make sure to check out that. Today we are doing another MLB episode, and is talking about surprising picks from the MLB draft as a whole. So we're picking one player from each round that surprised us. But before we do that, I was very impressed or surprised with the Angels' bold strategy of selecting a pitcher in every round. Seems like they had a thing they wanted to fix. What do you think, Austin?
Yeah, I think when you pick the same position for all of your picks that you probably need help in that area, and we've obviously seen that. It didn't surprise me when the Angels picked all 20. I didn't expect them to. I thought they would at least pick one other player, but I mean, they know what their issue is, and they're trying to fix it.
Yeah, and some of them are college pitchers, so they could be coming up faster. But speaking of pitching, we go to our first round surprise pick, and that is Frank Mazzucato, who's drafted 7th overall by the Royals. You and I both had Kumar Rocker going at 7. You didn't have Mazzucato going in the first round. I am going 27 to the Padres. So that's why we have a surprising pick. Any other thoughts?
I mean, it was, like you said, a very surprising pick. The Royals had him really high up on their board, apparently, and they really see high upside out of him. So, yeah, not that surprising of a selection to go with a pitcher, but definitely a surprising pick going with Frank Mazzucato.
Yeah, he is a left-hander, so that may have added some intrigue for why they selected him. Now we move on to the second round. We got Kai Bush selected by the Angels. He was one of the 20 pitchers picked by them. He was ranked 67th and was drafted with the 45th overall pick. But he is a guy you had going in the first round, so I'll let you talk more about that.
Yeah, I saw him as an underrated prospect, and he did go higher than what he was ranked. But again, it was surprising for me to see somebody who I valued as a top 30 pick falling all the way to 45.
Yeah, and it could be a steal for the Angels. Now we move on to number 3, which is Bubba Chandler, and this goes into why the Pirates selected Henry Davis, because he's probably not going to take up that full $10 million. So they can spread it out, and this is where I think they're going to have to pay a lot of money, and he still may not sign. That, of course, with the 72nd pick, they drafted Bubba Chandler, and that's the Pirates. He is a guy we both had going in the first round, and he is committed to Clemson for football and baseball. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, Another reason why it's a surprising pick is because of what you just said. They're already going to have to pay Henry Davis, while it is going to be less than another high schooler going in at number one. I don't think he signs. I think he wants to be a football player and goes to Clemson to do that. If he wants to sign, I don't think it's a bad decision. However, it's definitely a risky choice for the Pirates having chosen him here.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't sign. We'll get to his teammate later, or his friend, future teammate, if you would like to say it like that. So in the fourth round, we have Christian Franklin from Arkansas University. He was drafted 123, but he is ranked 52. And that was he was drafted by the Cubs. So that's really surprising. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, from watching a lot of Arkansas baseball this year, I can tell you Christian Franklin was outstanding. I thought he was going to be at least a second round choice, and for him to fall all the way to the fourth round to the Cubs got a steal here. I love this pick, and um, I wouldn't be surprised if in a couple years we're talking about him in the MLB.
Yeah, and he might come up soon as it looks like the Cubs are sellers. Um, Now we move on to the fifth round, where Jackson Glenn, a fifth year senior, was unranked, but the Pirates select him as a 133rd pick. Still surprising, but you could argue the Pirates, since they're going to do their best to sign Bubba Chandler, they picked an underslot guy. They did it with the number one overall pick, but maybe they're doing it here. But going pretty low if he's not ranked and it's in the first 250 picks. What do you think?
Yeah, so Jackson Glenn is a third baseman. I do think they need some infielding help, especially at third base. So maybe they do see him as somebody who can come up eventually to become that player. Obviously, like we said, he was a fifth year senior, so he could come really fast to the MLB. And if he is what I bet the Pirates hope he is, they pay him not as much as some of the other high fifth round players because he wasn't ranked, but he also gets to come up fast. Uh, so yeah, I like this pick, especially if they uh, had him high up on their third baseman board.
Yeah, one guy talked about the Rangers who wasn't in the top 250 picks last year was Evan Carter, who they selected in the second round, and he was playing well until he got injured. So if he's high on your board, it can work out. Pirates are hoping for the best. Now we move on to the sixth round where we go to Carlos Rodriguez, who's drafted 177th. He is from JUCO and he is also unranked and he was selected by the Brewers. What are your thoughts, Austin?
Yeah, this is just a great story. A JUCO kid who's unranked gets selected in the sixth round. There is still some signing bonus to that. If you're in the top 10 rounds, you do get a signing bonus. All the other rounds do not. So he got a pretty big, probably $400,000 signing bonus. And if you're a JUCO kid, someone who's probably been doubted your entire life, and you're unranked going into the draft, you probably aren't anticipating a selection at 177.
So the exact pick value estimated here, so exact estimate is 279 and 50K. So that's a nice payday for Carlos Rodriguez, and like you said, great story. Now we move on to the seventh pick. We have Kevin Abel. So we of course had to include a Kevin. With our 210th pick, we have the Cincinnati Reds selected the kid from Oregon State. What do you think about this pick?
Yeah, I like this pick, but again, it's surprising. It's rare that we see something like this happen, where there are so many people that are chosen that are fourth year juniors or seniors, and then uh, and I really think it's because they're trying to save money. Normally, fourth year seniors are people who weren't trying to get drafted before, or just not good enough to get drafted earlier in their career, so they may fall lower and lower. But here in the seventh round, again, they're getting a signing bonus and they're taking a flyer on a guy who's a junior.
Yeah, and hopefully it turns out as he is a pitcher, and depends if he'll get Tommy John, but we'll have to see. And he may turn out well. Now we move on to number 8. We have Robbie Martin, the outfielder from Florida State. The Rockies selected him at the 230th pick, and he was very high on some. He was ranked 104th, and so they're helping strengthen their outfield as they went with Montgomery in the first round. Any other thoughts?
Yeah, another really high rated guy who is a fourth year junior. We're seeing a lot of this. People's boards are very different than the board that we're looking at by MLB.com. So I think that's also interesting. Every team has their own board, and sometimes players may be really high on one board and really low on another board. So it's just how their scouts see you. And they obviously thought that uh, many people thought that he should not be the 104th overall pick, even though MLB.com had him ranked there.
And one thing that could contribute to boards can always be different, but they may be really different this year based on where scouts could go because of COVID. Some kids may have not even played this year. But now we move on to the ninth round with Braden Olthoff, who was drafted 261st, but he was ranked 182 by the Angels. So, of course, he's another pitcher. What do you think, Austin?
Yeah, a lot of Angel selections in here that are pretty surprising. But again, another player again falls on boards, and I think again, I just said again 3 times, but the Angels are somebody who I feel like has a different board than other people, and are trying to take guys that are high on other people's boards so that they don't get them. Um, the Angels are a team, like we said before, that are in a desperate need to get pitchers, and for them to select one here isn't all that surprising. It's just surprising that Braden fell this far. 182 to 261. That's almost 80 picks different. So uh, it's weird seeing a guy fall that much.
Yeah, and the Angels are very fortunate, as for all the reasons you said. Now we move on to the 10th round. We have Dylan Spain selected 307th overall by the Braves. He is the guy that did not have a school listed in MLB, and he is a pitcher. But Braves maybe taking a shot, and maybe they had some scouts where he was probably did some YouTube stuff or something like that to get noticed, and it pays off. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, this is really weird that a guy, the only guy who did not have a school listed or said no school, which probably means that he didn't attend school last year or dropped out. Um, he probably played club ball, but again, it's weird seeing the only guy who never went to school last year get drafted in a 10th round, nonetheless. The Braves probably had something on him that nobody else did, and that's why he got selected where he did. Um, Obviously, he wasn't ranked. He never really saw much scouts, and maybe only the Braves scouts saw him, and they saw something in him, and maybe he was in the Braves area. Maybe he tried out with one of their scouts beforehand, but yeah, it's weird seeing a guy that says no school next to his name.
Yeah, and now we move on to the 11th round. We have, for our surprising pick, we have Nico Cavadas, selected by the Red Sox with the 316th overall pick, but he was ranked 135. That is, he dropped and he is a 4-year senior, so that could be part of it. And Red Sox, I think, are very happy with the selection. How are you feeling about this selection?
Yeah, and if I remember correctly, he obviously went to Notre Dame, but he was a first baseman who I think played very well in the tournament, and that really should help, uh, or really should show that he, even as a 4-year senior, would be someone who can in the future be a first baseman that can get good hitting stats. Obviously, they have Bobby Dalbec right now at first, but I feel like he's not a long term solution. So maybe they feel like in the 11th round they can get a guy that could be their future first baseman. I know it's rare to see double digit picks become somebody of note, but sometimes it happens, and I think the Red Sox are hoping that with this pick.
And just a little bit of trivia. Can you name a guy who's pretty significant for the Yankees that was not selected at all in the MLB draft? I'll give you the year 2017 or 2018.
So he went undrafted, and he
Yeah, he didn't. The Yankees traded for him. but he was a
Oh,
guy
Luke
that was
Voigt.
undrafted.
Luke Voigt.
No,
Gio Shaw.
no, it's a pitcher.
Oh, it's a pitcher.
Yeah,
Domingo Herman.
no.
Is he a starter or?
I don't know if he's still with y'all anymore. It was. I'll just end it. It was Darren O'Day. I'm pretty
Oh yeah,
sure
Darren
he.
O'Day is on the Yankees. However, I don't. He was not drafted in 2018.
No, I mean, that's my fault. I meant to say he was traded. The Yankees traded for him in 2018, but he was undrafted. That's my
Oh
fault.
well, he. This is actually his first year in 2020 playing with us, or 2021. But yeah, I when you said 2018, I thought you meant drafted in 2018. So I was
Oh,
trying
my
to pick
bad.
the youngest guy possible
Okay.
for choice. But yeah, Darren
Well,
O'Day is a good pitcher for us. He's a one-time All-Star back in 2015, I believe, with the Baltimore Orioles, and he's a quality pitcher for us. I like Darren O'Day, and it's surprising to see that he never was drafted.
yeah. So you can find some things in the rough, and that's what the Red Sox are hoping for with Nico Cavadas. Now we go to the 12th round. We have Davis Diaz, a high school shortstop selected by the D backs with the 348th overall pick. And Diaz is ranked 71st from MLB. So he fell very far. And it will be a tough sign, in my opinion, since he is a high school senior. But what do you think?
Yeah, yeah, he's another shortstop that the Diamondbacks draft, along with Jordan Lawler, obviously in the first round. But again, he's not gonna sign. High school seniors uh, normally do not sign if they fall out of the 10th round. They get no signing bonus, so there's no guarantee to their contract really. Um, so it's rare that they select it. A contract in the 10th round is probably only 50 or 40,000, maybe 60,000 if you're lucky. So that a year is just not worth it when you could work at a college to hone your craft and then obviously hope to go higher in the draft next time around.
Yep, that happened with Jack Leiter, the Rangers pick, as he was selected in the 19th round by the Yankees, opted not to go, and then he drafts number 2 overall. So that's another thing that you can look out for. Now we go to the 13th round. We have Mac Anglin from the Nationals, who's drafted 383 overall, but he was ranked 217. So Nationals feel they got a steal. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, another guy. I mean, this seems like it's a normal occurrence now as we go through the draft. And of all the guys that we have left, all of them are guys that fell when they were supposed to be higher. And I don't know if this is MLB getting more or less scouting than the rest of the guys. Maybe the teams had more available options to go see players during the season than the MLB did, or vice versa. Uh, I don't know. Maybe it's just a compilation of all the boards together, and that's what the rankings are. Uh, but yeah, he fell, and the Nationals really hope that he is a guy that would be worth his 217th pick, not his 383rd.
Yeah, and now we move on to the 14th round where we go to the Pirates once again, taking a flyer on a guy, and his name is Braylon Bishop, who's selected with the 403rd overall pick, and he was ranked 94th in the MLB rankings, and he, of course, is a high school senior and an outfielder, so it's going to be a pretty tough sign. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, the 94th pick is a third round pick. So if he gets signed there, I mean, 94th pick is 618,000. Uh, maybe he takes that.
Yeah, and another thing to add is it's going to be tough if they're wanting to sign their third round pick, who they actually drafted, Bubba Chandler, as we mentioned before. Combine that with this, you're probably going to lose one of them. I would probably say Braylon Bishop over Bubba Chandler is a person they would want to lose. But any more thoughts to add, Austin?
So yeah, I mean, he's a surprising pick here. but he's definitely not going to sign. High school seniors, 14th round. Even though he was 94th ranked, he's not going to sign. The Pirates are just trying to hope. Maybe they save some of his money from earlier, like we mentioned, taking Henry Davis in the first. Maybe they try to offer this guy more than maybe what he's worth in the 14th round. But I'd be surprised if he does sign.
Yeah, I would be too. Now we move on to the 15th round. We have Peyton Green, selected by a team we already talked about, the Red Sox. He was ranked 436th. He was actually drafted 436th and it was ranked 147. So this may be a tough sign as well for the Red Sox, as um, I believe he is a high school player. But I will double check that as while Austin gives his thoughts.
Yeah, he is a high school senior, by the way. Peyton Green is. And this is already the second Red Sox player that has been mentioned. So another team that is going out there trying to sign maybe some high school guys to late deals, trying to hop on their case before they go to college. Obviously, it didn't work for Jack Leiter with the Yankees, but I mean, it's always good to try. Maybe they need some stability in their life. Maybe they would rather not go to college for one reason or another. But I mean, I don't think he's going to sign, but we'll see what happens.
Yep, we will see. And there is some type of risk involved. Like you mentioned, 60,000 for a player drafted, and he's like, well, maybe I get injured. You can take that money now. But some people bet on themselves. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. But now we move on to the 16th round. We have Julian Bosnick. And that, of course, he was selected with the 476th overall pick, and he was ranked 187. So the Giants are thinking that they have a steal here. And he is a 4-year junior, so he could be a steal because he doesn't have the option for entering college, but he could go back 1 year depending on if the NCAA gave another year of eligibility. But what are your thoughts?
Yeah, so 4-year seniors just mean that he went to a 4-year school and that he was a junior at that 4-year school. So he definitely could go back one more year, and I think everybody from the year before can come back. And if you play during 2020, you could either come back for 2021 if you were a senior, or you could come back for the next year. Like you get another year of eligibility because of how that season went. Obviously, there wasn't basically any baseball season because of uh, things that happened in the world. But like you said, Julian Bosnick, even though he's a 4-year junior, he may sign. Um, I feel like this is a much safer selection to choose somebody who is a college player who may be like, I don't want to go back. I've already been through this road multiple times. I'll take it now, take my chance. And maybe he does. Maybe this is a great pick by the Giants. We'll see.
Well, yeah, we don't have to say great yet. Okay, you can calm down over there. Now we move on to the 17th round. So I said it was dedicated to Luca, and we have a Luca who's drafted. That's our surprising pick. Luca Tresh, selected by the Royals with the 499th overall pick. And check this out. He was ranked 101 with MLB. So what do you got to add?
Yeah, he's another 4-year junior. He was on the NC State team that, in my opinion, would have won it all if COVID did not occur within their team. Um, Maybe he tries to take that anger out and go to the MLB now, but maybe he comes back and be like, "We should have won it last year. If we run it back, I mean, we can win it now." We'll obviously see what they do, but I mean, the Royals, they're a second surprising pick during this, and maybe it works out.
Yep, we'll see. And now I got a big question for you in the 18th round. Gage Jump, selected by the Padres, 550th overall, ranked 43rd. But how about that name, Gage Jump? Does that enter into your power rankings of great names in baseball?
I mean, I think so, especially because he's a pitcher. I mean, he got some jump on the ball, but he'd either have to be a pitcher or be an outfielder, in my opinion. So either he does jump or he has jump on the ball. Uh, I like the name. Seeing jump on the back of a jersey would be really, really cool. And the Padres are a team we'll get back to again, as they at the end of the draft are like, we'll just take some flyers on guys who should have gone earlier probably, but I mean, Gage Jump is a high school senior. I feel like he'll take a lighter position and just be like, no, politely, respectfully, no. But he was ranked to go in the second round, and it's again surprising that he falls as far as he does.
Yeah, that is some good wordplay you offered. Some broadcaster is gonna steal that from you when if he stays at pitcher, he jumps up to catch. If it like bounces, does a weird thing that's allowed in physics. But now we talk about the 19th round. Will Taylor, who's drafted with the 554th pick, and he was selected by the Rangers. We had him both taken in the first round. I had him selected by the Athletics because they've had some history selecting people committed to football programs, most notably Kyler Murray. And then you had him going to the Yankees. And then just he is of course the teammate of Bud Chandler, future teammate, who's committed for baseball and football. So it's going to be a tough sign for the Rangers, but I have my fingers crossed. What do you got to add?
Yeah, sorry to burst your bubble, but this is another 19th round disappointment. Lighter for the Yankees with the 19th round disappointment. I think here the Rangers are a team that falters, but maybe that means the Yankees get them in the future.
No, no, no.
We'll see what happens, but yeah, the fact that we both had him in the first round and he falls as far as he does, and he was ranked 20th. He was ranked 20th. I had him going 20th, and yeah, so this is why we're not paid to make uh, draft selections. But again, it's surprising to see him here.
But we are open to being paid to make draft selections. Rangers, we're free. Um, but like just because it didn't work out for your Yankees doesn't mean another team can do it, and that team could be the Rangers. But we'll see. Now for our final round, the 20th round, Chase Burns. Burns would be a cool name on a jersey, in my opinion. And
Yeah,
then
there's already
he was.
Corbin Burns
Ooh,
for the
that's true.
Brewers. The Corbin Burns has an
Yes.
ES, so that's less powerful in my opinion. Because when it's just an S, it's like, oh, he burns,
Ooh. Is
and
he a
that could
pitcher?
work no matter what position you are. I guess unless you're a catcher. If you're fast, you burn, but if you go really fast, you also burn. So I mean,
And he is a pitcher.
oh, so that's even better.
So he is a burning fastball.
Yeah, his fastball burns. That's what you say.
Yeah. And then he was ranked 47th, and he is um, a high school kid, so a high school senior, so he's probably going to go to a draft. Maybe he winds up with the Rangers in the future in the earlier rounds whenever he comes out of college. But what are your thoughts?
Yeah, so he was the third to last selection. So there's only 612 picks in the draft, and he was 6'10". So uh, again, the Padres are just hoping and praying that he signs. If any of this were to actually occur, it'd be very noteworthy, but we obviously don't see it happening. And maybe the Yankees can get him in the future.
Well, calm down. Calm down, your Yankees talk. Y'all are fine. Talking about the Rangers. We need pitchers. Well, the Yankees do need pitchers too, so maybe. But I would definitely buy that jersey no matter what. So I'll be on the lookout for the future. That now concludes our episode, and make sure to check out our previous episode. We talked about Will Taylor and the Rangers. I think that was last episode. We were talking about him being the steal of the draft. Okay, thanks. So now we can. So make sure to check that out. But make sure to check out our next episode, which will be our predictions for the 30 people, not 31, because the Vegas Knights are exempt from the expansion draft, even though they're probably going to make a deal with the Kraken. We talked about that in an NHL episode, so check all those out to be pretty sure what we talked about. So we'll be doing our people, the 30 people select an expansion draft next episode. Make sure to check out our interviews, and thank you for listening to Outsiders Opinions.